Alrighty, sound check. Just checking out to make sure I can be heard because I am working with the new setup after the move. And last night had some sound issues. Looks like I'm coming through. Okay, yeah, I can hear myself. Oh, I'm loud. Okay, so I didn't really have a show planned, but when I remembered that Sloopy is out, and if y'all like me, I be needing my fix. Like my day is not right until I've had my sleep live session. But since she's not here, then I'm gonna have to be my own fix tonight. We got some cases, some older cases that are have some court dates coming up. Cash Gurdon, um, Amari Nicholson, and a couple of others. We've got some new information trickling out in some older cases like Major Harris. Um, got some new updates on some of our newer cases. We're seeing some things starting to happen in Summer's case. I really want to talk about this one case, Tessa Kozelka, tonight because I did a little short live last night and she has been found. There was an Amber Alert for her and she has been found. But that situation just, I don't know, it just got me in the gut. So I really want to talk about her tonight. Um, we're going to take a look at Cody Bigsby and see what's going on with his case. His dad was denied bond again. Thank you. And let's get started. So first up is Tessa Kozelska. Like I said, I don't have the show together because I wasn't planning on going live, but we're gonna make this thing do what it does. All right, let's go to this article right here. I think I read this one earlier, and it's talking about her being found and that the suspect, her stepbrother slash boyfriend, that word, is in custody. Okay, the Amber Alert for 12-year-old ads. The Amber Alert for 12-year-old Tessa Kozelka has been canceled by North Royalton Police Department, according to the Ohio Attorney General's office. According to a release, a detective with the North Royalton Police Department said the suspect and victim are both in the custody of the Cleveland Police Department. Oh, that's interesting. The suspect accused of abducting her was identified in the Amber Alert as Kozelka's stepbrother, Micey Stiver, who's 23 years old. They were apprehended at 10:34 p.m. on Tuesday. Okay, I'm real sure y'all picked up on all the red flags that just sent my bills off crazy last night. Um, First of all, she's 12 years old. He's 23. 12 and 23. Second of all, he's her stepbrother. Now, here's the thing that's getting me. One of the it wasn't an article, but like in one of the flyers that came out for her, they said that in this case, this is a case where extreme grooming is a factor. Now, you got to think about this. Whenever their parents got married, she wasn't even born yet. So he's been in the home with her this whole time that she's been growing up. So God only knows when this actually started. I had someone comment, and I don't have any confirmation. I'm waiting to touch bases with them, and but they were saying that there's a lot more to this. That something about other females and their family, and da 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 da. So you can kind of guess where that train of thought went. But her stepbrother, man, 9 years older than her. Apparently, there are Facebook posts. Now, I couldn't find a lot of stuff. I did try to go on, like her Facebook is Facebook. The only thing I really saw that stood out to me is that on one of her Facebook profiles, on April the 2nd, she changed her relationship status to married. and that was 2 days, 3 days before she disappeared with this guy. So that was really the only thing that I could find because I found like 4 or 5 profiles on her, but they were all pretty much private. I could only see like a couple of posts on it. Most of them really weren't anything that stood out to me. It was mostly like, someone has their profile private, but you can see like some of their old profile pictures or whatever. So it was like just a couple of her old profile pictures on most of them. And then I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. And yeah, she might think she's safe. Well, she's safe now because the police have found them, and so she's safe now. But yeah, she would have been thinking she's safe. I mean, she grew up in the house with him. He's been toying with her mind and her emotions for God only knows how long. So at 12 years old, she probably really considered him to be her boyfriend, like for real, for real. Um, I don't know. That's just a disturbing situation just to think about that. And I say that just because of my own survival situation, which you guys are going to hear about on Patreon. That's not YouTube material. But, there's something to be said for being in a position where your abuser is right there, either constantly or almost constantly. So I sympathize with her. Um, it says that they're both in custody. They didn't really give any details on, and I've read a couple of other articles on this. Um, they didn't really give any details as far as like was she charged with something, because there's that wording to say that they were apprehended. They're both in custody. It's not usually the way they phrase things. I know that one of the articles said that he was taken into custody and she was taken to a local hospital by EMS. And in that article, they didn't have that apprehended language applying to both of them. But because this is applying really to both of them, I'm wondering if that's just the person who wrote this article just writing it that way, or if that's significant. Is she in custody as well for something? Was she apprehended for something? Or is that just a poor choice of wording and context on the part of whoever wrote this article? Um, yeah, that's a disturbing situation. I'm going to keep an eye on this one just because I really want to see how this turns out. Now, there was mention also in her missing flyer that the stepbrother apparently has mental health issues and that he's off his meds. This is coming from that was coming from the family, and I'm sure he probably has mental health issues. I mean, I don't see any reason that they would lie about that and then lie about meds, because that's something that later on down the line could easily be proven or disproven as to whether or not he was actually on meds with documented mental health issues. But at the same time, mental health issues, um, if it's not like a developmental delay or learning issue or some issue with like comprehending boundaries or right and wrong, then I don't even think that that's going to play a role in this. It shouldn't play a role in this when it comes down to the criminal aspect of it, because as long as he's not developmentally challenged, there's nothing wrong with his understanding that, hey, that's my 12-year-old stepsister and I'm a 23-year-old grown man, then I don't think he should be able to fall back on mental health. And I don't think the family should be trying to portray him as some type of victim if, um, if indeed it's not some type of developmental issue. Hi, Arctic. Welcome to the chat. I haven't seen you in a while. Um, yeah, that case is something else. There was also in the flyer they made mention of the fact that he was possibly armed, and I took that to mean most likely armed, because the simple fact that they mentioned he might be armed means that they know that he had access to weapons and that he likely would have chosen to arm himself with a weapon. That flyer, I believe it came from the family. It's on Twitter. I retweeted it on my timeline. It originally came from True Crime Daily. If you want to go and check that out and look at it for yourself, or you can check the video that I posted last night about this. I actually pulled up the flyer and I was talking about it. Okay. I noticed here that I forgot to share my window, so I was reading the article but not showing it to you guys. So I'm going to share. I'm just going to share the whole doggone desktop right now. So yeah, and this is Mr. Michael Stiver. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Some things just don't make sense. Okay, moving on to the next thing. Cody Bigsby. We don't really have any big movement in his case. We know that his father was again denied bond, but other than that, nothing really major is popping off in his case. They're not really saying anything. Probably the most significant thing that's come out is what me and Snoop Mom were talking about last night, and them finally openly, publicly saying, that he's presumed deceased. Uh, I think that really kind of made some things kind of uh, set firmly in people's minds. Um, it's not something that any of us really ever want to hear, but like I said last night, Chief Talbot has basically been saying that from the beginning without actually saying that. He's been saying it between the lines, and they weren't narrow lines. You could see exactly what he was saying. So that's probably the most significant thing with Cody. I think I was actually intending to pull up Major Harris and not Cody because there is some weird stuff going on with the Major Harris case, even though it's technically closed. Amari Nicholson. I don't know if any of you guys uh, watched this drama that went on with Amari Nicholson. If you're aware of that case, put a one in the chat. Um, if you're not, yeah, Howard he's really good. He's well spoken, um, and I think he is. I think his heart is in the right place, um, especially in this case. I don't believe he personally did or was aware of any wrongdoing as far as violation of rights. But what I am glad of, my concern when I'm backing up a little bit, going back to Cody, my concern when the stuff came out about him being denied an attorney after clearly asking for an attorney twice was that what effect will it have on uh, getting justice for Cody in the criminal sense? Um, how badly would his being denied an attorney affect uh, any case that they might have against him involving Cody Bigsby? But fortunately, just from hearing them talk, it seems like whatever happened was not significant enough to cause worry that somehow he'll skate on these charges because, oh, they wouldn't let me talk to a lawyer. So that is a good thing. That was my main concern. That was my main concern. I mean, I don't believe in like denying people their rights or whatever, but when it comes to the life, health, safety, and well-being of a child, um, you can pretty much take your rights and lay them on the railroad track when the train is coming. Just tell us where this baby is, so that whatever we can go save this baby or we can lay this baby to rest. Um, I don't know. I don't know. But thank goodness, doesn't seem like it affected his legal case too much. Amari Nicholson. If you're not familiar with Amari Nicholson's case, Amari Nicholson is a little boy from Las Vegas, Nevada. Look, Amari was, I believe, 4 years old. We're going to see here in just a second. He was two. Amari Nicholson was 2 years old. He lived with his mother and her boyfriend in one of those like efficiency, where they rent basically an efficiency apartment. It's a hotel, but it's basically like efficiency apartments, one bedroom, little sitting area, or whatever. And they rent them by the week. Some places rent them by the month. So they were living in that type of place in a pretty rough area in Las Vegas. The mother had to go to Colorado to help her mother because her mother had gotten bitten on the ankle by a dog and had to have surgery. Yeah, it was like a motel, but they don't really do like nightly rentals or whatever. They do the week and by the month or whatever. Um, where was I at? Oh yeah, so her mother had actually sent plane tickets for both the daughter and her granddaughter to come out to Colorado from Las Vegas. Well, her mother, when she let me put some names in here. I can't remember her name, but Amari's mother's name is Taylor. When Taylor got to Colorado, her mom was actually surprised to see that she had not brought Amari with her because she had sent a plane ticket so that Amari could come. She was told that Amari was back in Las Vegas with her boyfriend. His name is Terrell. Well, apparently Taylor FaceTime with Amari. I think it was that Friday. She got there like that Friday. She FaceTime with Amari. The grandmother saw and spoke to Amari on that FaceTime, and then she says that she didn't hear or see Taylor FaceTiming with or talking to Amari anymore. Well, the Taylor and Terrell got into an argument, and it gets kind of messy. Tomorrow night, I'm going to go live, and I'm actually going to go back over this case and play the video so it makes a whole lot more sense. But they got into an argument. They basically broke up over the phone. She told him she's sending somebody by to get his stuff, or get her stuff, or something like that, and or to get her baby or whatever. So apparently Terrell gets mad because they got into an argument. He calls her like the next morning or the morning after that and says, "Hey, call the cops because your baby's gone. His daddy's sister just came to the door and said she was supposed to be picking him up and blah 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 whatever." Cut to the chase. Turns out that he had actually murdered the little boy because the little boy had wet his pants during a potty training accident. He went on camera, and I'm going to drop those links in the description. So if you want to go check that out tonight, you can. If not, I'm going to go live with it tomorrow. He actually recorded himself on his cell phone beating this poor child to death. Hid the baby's body at like there was another hotel, another similar style hotel, like in the next parking lot over. He hid the baby's body in like a drainage ditch in the next hotel's parking lot. He was on TV saying how, you know, if anybody has him, bring him back, and this, that, other thing, blah, 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 putting on the whole shebang, but it was so fake. You know how we see these interviews with these parents who have hurt their kids, and we're looking at them like, if you don't stop lying, I'm going to jump through the TV and smack the heck out of you. It was one of those type of interviews. And at that point, I felt like Taylor knew something was up, but she didn't know exactly what was up because she kept giving him like side eyes and these facial expressions or whatever. So he ended up getting arrested. After he got arrested, he was in the interrogation room. He managed to actually get one of the officer's guns out of the holster, had it in his hand, had it under his control. But the officers, thank God, had quick responses and they were able to keep him from being able to fire the gun and to be able to get it away from him. So, because he was crying about how, oh, I can't go back to prison, this, that, and well, you know what? You should have thought about that before you beat this poor innocent baby to death. Nobody cares if you want to go back to prison or not. You must have wanted to go back. Anyway, so he has a court date coming up here soon. And that's what I wanted to put out there. Railroads is his name. This dude, I'm really, really, really hoping and praying that they throw a book at him. You know what? I'm not even going to go through all that because I actually have this in a project that I've been working on. So I'm just going to pull up the project. Don't y'all be, looking too hard at this sneak preview that you get of the series that I have coming up because you're not supposed to know the details. Yeah, he did that, Frank. Awful, just horrible. Like, and he did such a poor job with his acting until it's like, dude, why are you even trying to pretend like you didn't do anything? Here we go. You guys are gonna like this series when I bring it out. It's just gonna be like short videos. Okay, so here it is. He has a court date coming up. Two, as a matter of fact. The first one is going to be on May the 3rd. That one is listed as a calendar call under Judge Jacqueline Bluth. And then on May the 9th, he has his jury trial date set. So I'm assuming that the calendar call is just another name for, when they go in and make sure that everybody's ready to go to trial, see if anybody needs continuances, file motions, or whatever. And jury trial, that's probably actually going to be the date that they start picking the jury. They might actually start the trial that day, but I don't think so. This was such a very high profile case, till I don't think it's going to be one of those cut and dried. We can just do this and take it to trial. It's going to end up being one of those where there's delays and this, that, and the other thing, unless he pleads out. Just because, I mean, this was all over the news. It was a big deal in Las Vegas. I mean, hundreds of people were out searching for this baby. It was a big deal. So, all right. Next, I'm gonna save Summer Wells for last. Next up, Major Harris, a case that I covered out of Milwaukee. His mother was found murdered in a backyard. When they identified her and went to notify her family, is when they realized that she had a son that was missing, a 3-year-old son. They issued an Amber Alert. Um, the person that they suspected of taking him, once they located him and they were going into the house to get him, and this is the story, but there's other stuff going on with this. The story is, as they were approaching the house to go in and apprehend him, they heard several gunshot wounds and that he had done this to himself. That's questionable, though. I'm not going to get into it tonight. It's questionable. Um, they eventually found Major. He had been shot in the head and put into a plastic tote storage bin and discarded behind an abandoned house. Um, the reason I'm talking about his case because officially on the books it's closed, and I guess I am going to get into this tonight because this case is a mess. So when they were looking for Major Harris, his father, who had moved from Milwaukee to, I believe, West Virginia for work, came back to Milwaukee, and he was actually out there, boots on the ground, looking for his son with the rest of the search crews. He was in dumpsters. He was lifting mattresses. He was looking under houses. He was really looking for his son. He was on the news pleading, if you have my son, bring him back. If you know what happened to him, somebody say something. He was really the raw emotion. You can go back in my on my channel and you'll see the Major Harris videos. Well, there came a point where, in the beginning, the father he was actually saying that the Milwaukee Police Department he thought they were doing a good job and they were, trying to find his son. But I guess things happened over the course of the search and the investigation to where his opinion changed. He ended up expressing that opinion. And what the Milwaukee Police Department did was they retaliated against him for expressing that he didn't feel like they were doing all they could do to find his son. Turns out that he had like a warrant for back child support or something, and that he had I don't know if it was an old case for domestic violence or a violation of probation warrant for domestic violence, but it was something to do with domestic violence and a warrant. The Milwaukee Police Department, because he expressed his dissatisfaction with the way that they were handling the search for his son and trying to find him, they retaliated. They put him on blast. They put out a whole press release about just basically bashing the father's character, this, that, and the other thing, blah, blah, blah. And I was sitting there like, well, apparently the dude ain't trying to run from it because he's aware that he has these warrants and these issues, and he's still right back in your jurisdiction looking for his son. So obviously, it's more important to him to find his son than it is to worry about going to jail on a child support warrant. So why are you bashing him? Because you don't like what he said about the way you're handling the case. And I took a lot of issue with that for the simple fact that when you see the police doing that, and I'm going to get off the soapbox in about 2 sentences. When you see police doing that, then it will cause certain demographics of people to mistrust the police and not even want to call you for help. Because why am I going to call you if the first thing you're going to do is attack me and my character when I need your help? So yeah, that was the whole thing. Well, after all this stuff kind of died down, the, the suspect who offed himself, his name was Jaheim. Jaheim's family came out and said that, well, they're saying that he did this to himself, but he had multiple gunshot wounds. He looked like someone had beaten him. His face had bruises and this, that, and the other thing to where you could tell it was like somebody beat him and his body looked as if they tried to cover up the fact that he had been physically beaten or whatever. There was just a lot about that. There's a video. I went back and I played the family's press conference. You can go in my Major Harris playlist and check that out. They brought a lot of things up that really kind of made the whole thing just seem kind of suspect. It was like they're just trying to hurry up and close this case for some reason. Well, shortly before they found Jaheim, there was a news article that came out and it disappeared. Like you can't go back and see it right now. It disappeared. But it came out and said that multiple people were in police custody concerning the whole situation with the mother being murdered and the baby being, just taken or disappeared or whatever at that point. But then when you clicked on the article, it didn't say anything about that. Just the headline said that, and now the whole article is gone. Like you can't find it on. It was posted on multiple news media websites, and now it's just all gone. So apparently now they're offering immunity to someone that was involved in this whole whatever this situation was. Apparently it was something like a drug deal gone bad, but they're offering immunity to someone in a situation where you have a dead mother and a dead child. So the whole case just seems so wrong. So keep an eye on that one. If you want to go and check out that playlist, I think it's a very interesting case. If you guys want to drop some comments on the videos and let me know if that's something that you want to look a little, we can keep tabs on. Maybe we can go over the video with the family and just kind of analyze it together and see if you guys get the same vibe as I do. Drop some comments over on that video and let me know if that's something you want to do. Summer. Because I'm going to be getting off of here in a minute. I'm actually really sleepy. But Summer Wells. So we know Don's in jail. I think things are actually starting to kind of move in her case, and I say that because, excuse me, for most of the time that this case has been active, you haven't really seen law enforcement saying anything publicly. They haven't really been talking. There's been a whole lot going on YouTube and on the interwebs, and with the Wells, and they're live on this channel, and they're doing shenanigans over there, and just all this kind of stuff. But hey, Sleuthy, missed you. I missed you so bad I had to go live and be my own fix. Um, so yeah, they really haven't been saying a whole lot in her case, but lately you'll notice that they're starting to speak more, and then the lead detective has spoken out for the first time. I don't even think I knew the lead detective's name until just the other day, and I can't even remember it right now off the top of my head. Well, first you had the searches. Remember back late last year, they did some searches, and they said that they were planned searches, and they were searching because the change in like the foliage with the fall and the winter weather, and they could get in places that they couldn't get in before. Okay, then they came back and they were doing searches. What was it, like the end of January, beginning of February? They started another round of searches, and it's all focused right there in that Beach Creek, Ben Hill Road area. They're not really going very far outside that area or anywhere else. Well, then you have Ronnie Lawson, who came on and said that the parents are no longer cooperating and they've got lawyers. They lawyered up. Right after that, Grandis goes on and she's like, no, no, we didn't lawyer up. We'll talk to them anytime. Well, now you have the lead investigator saying there's lawyers involved. So I think in this situation, I'm going to tend to believe these two law enforcement officers who, even though they are technically allowed to lie to suspects, they really don't have a reason to lie about whether or not these people have an attorney. And just from what I've seen from the way that they act, I don't doubt that they lawyered up because the lead detective said that at one point they had been going out there to Ben Hill Road, checking on them almost daily. They had a good line of communication with them, making sure that they were okay and all this stuff. But in all these lives that they've been doing over the months, Don, Candace, all the lives that they were doing, all the special guest appearances and making their own channels, when you think about it, it's like they weren't interacting with police even then because it's like you never heard them mention how I talked to the investigator today. They got this many tips in. Even though they probably can't talk about all the details, they didn't mention anything like that unless somebody specifically asked them. So I think that they have been avoiding contact with law enforcement for quite some time. There are rumblings and murmurings about the possibility of grand jury. If you want to go over to Chasing Truth channel and check her out today, she did a video. I can't remember the exact title, but it does have grand jury in the title, and she did it today earlier around noon or so. And she was going over when the dates are for grand jury in that area and the process and how it works. And she talked a lot about, she got into the lead investigators interview with the news and gave some of her opinions on that. I love Chasing. She really kind of keeps things organized and grounded. She has a lot of good information on the Summer Wells case. Um, so yeah, go check out that video from today. Frank, if you wouldn't mind, if you could grab her link, for that video today. I know Summer Wells and grand jury are in the title. Let me see if I can find it real quick. because it was an excellent video. And for anybody that's really into the Summer Wells case, I think that that would be a very good video to watch. Is that the link for the video, Sleuth? Thank you. All right. So please make sure you guys go over and check out that video. It's really good as far as updates on what's going on with Summer's case over this last like couple of weeks. Um, I guess that's really about all. I just didn't want everybody sitting at home feeling like I do, like, oh my God, where's Sleuthy? Where's Sleuthy? I pulled her out of the woodwork, guys. She's not on the screen, but she's in the chat. We love you. Uh, Tomorrow, I am going to go live tomorrow night. And with that one, I'm going to go over the Amari Nicholson case. I don't think they have a grand jury. Honestly, I really don't. I think people are getting excited about the possibility of a grand jury just based on that the Wests had this apparently surprise grand jury indictment pop up. But in the Summer Wells case, I don't think there's a grand jury. In all honesty, I don't think they have enough to confidently point a finger at any one person or theory. Yeah, wishful thinking. Because everybody is just so ready for some kind of closure in Summer's case because it just doesn't add up. Nothing about her case makes sense. Nothing about her parents' actions over this almost a year makes sense. You know, I kind of feel like that if anything was going to come out, anything that was going to come out that would point a finger, a solid finger at the parents, and it would have come out already because the boys were removed. You know that they've had them in counseling. You know that they've been talking to them. You know the foster parents have been keeping their ears open just in case they overhear something. Because two of the boys, I believe they said, are in the same foster home, and the oldest one is in a separate foster home. So you know that they've been talking to these kids. So if there was something to be told, by now I feel like the boys would have already told it. Just like with Ariel's case and her sisters. Once her sister was away, I'm sorry, excuse me, and felt confident and secure that she could start talking, she talked. With the West, I believe a lot of that came from the children. I believe that once those children were away, because they were removed immediately, once they were away and they felt confident and secure that, hey, we're not going to go back over there with those monsters, they started talking. So I feel like that if there was something to be told that would point a finger at the parents, it would have been told by them. I don't think we would still be waiting. I mean, and they've got so many different characters going on. Man, this is a case where the difference in the West and Ariel is the other kids were removed immediately. Summer's case, there was no violations to remove the boys until Don started drinking. Exactly. Exactly. But they've been out of the home long enough that I feel like if they had something to say, they would have said it by now. Because it was like a month later. So that's July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. It's been 9 months that they've been out of the house. So I don't know. But like we saw in Gabby Petito's case where YouTube and social media and all that stuff played a very critical role in helping that case. But I think it's the exact opposite in Summer Wells' case. And I think that if it wasn't for YouTube and social media and all these different Reddit threads or whatever, I think that the police probably would have made more progress by now, because they keep saying it, and common sense actually backs that up. Every time something is said on one of these videos, they gotta track that down, because if if just like they were saying that Grandis said Summer never made it back to Ben Hill Road or something. So then, if she said that and they just ignored it, and it turns out that that's the case, then they got a ton of bricks that's gonna fall on their head. So they had to track that down and go back and see if they can see on surveillance where Summer was or wasn't there. Or, you know what I'm saying? Talk to this person to find out if they heard anything like that, or you know what I'm saying? So I think that if it weren't for social media and YouTube throwing so much stuff on the wall, that the police actually probably would have had a better chance at focusing on real solid clues. Because people have been sending them like tips from a psychic tarot card reading, or just crazy stuff like that. I mean, they're saying that they're getting tips from all over the world. Not saying that it's not possible that someone in another country couldn't have some pertinent information, but it's not likely. So 9 times out of 10, the information that they got from someone 3, 4, 10,000 miles away is so irrelevant, so it's just wasting their time. Probably just rehashing something that somebody else closer to home has already told them. And I feel so sorry for Summer and for her brothers and just for that family in general. I mean, and with Dawn and Candace, I go back and forth, guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty. But I think right now I'm firmly in the camp of Don didn't have anything to do with whatever actually happened to Summer, and he probably found out later, if he found out at all. I don't know. Yeah, they were, but people didn't really take that seriously. I thought it was a joke when I saw it, but they had more good sleuths digging than bad. Summer's case, because the cash cow that people realize all they got, you right, all they got to do is put her name in the title, and people are going to click on her video. I mean, and I've seen creators who have a channel, nothing but Summer. I've seen big creators who already had channels who essentially stopped doing anything other than Summer and made like a backup channel to cover other stuff, because their main channel is just all Summer all the time. Oh dear God, Brian's probably in Brazil somewhere. I don't actually think that, but just for the sake of it, I'm gonna say Brian's not dead. That's another crazy story. The rumors in that case got outrageous, but thankfully they didn't hinder that investigation. They didn't really stop anything or cause much harm. I am anxious to see how that civil lawsuit turns out between the Petito Schmidt family and the Laundry family. The last I read, the Laundry family filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit, basically saying that it's not a lawsuit that should be able to be brought for these different reasons. I cannot wait to see how that lawsuit turns out. I honestly feel like the Petito Schmidt family, even if they put a dollar amount on that lawsuit, it's not about money. I think it's just about getting information pushed out into the public sphere, because there were so many lies and misinformation and omissions and you know so much secretiveness. So I think that their lawsuit is really just about, it's a way to make some things publicly accessible that otherwise wouldn't be. Oh, they'll be okay. I got Frank and I got Snoop. I'm good. Oh yeah, Arctic was in here too. He spoke earlier. He was in here. You still out there, Arctic? And my other me was in here too. Oh goodness, pray. um, yeah, I'm gonna get off here. I just wanted to come live and just talk about a little something so we could all have something to do for the night. I really didn't have a show put together. Tomorrow I will have something put together because we're gonna go over the Amari Nicholson case, and I also want to take a look at the Cash Gurning case tomorrow and see if, what the latest is on that. But mainly it will be Amari Nicholson just because Terrell Rhodes has those court dates coming up soon. And Sleuthy, I can't wait until we can talk about Ariel and what is going on in her case. But I will save that for um, maybe when we can hang out together and talk about it. All right, good night. I'm going to bed too. I'm so sleepy. Thanks, guys, for joining me. I really love and appreciate my people that I can count on. You guys are always here, and I really do appreciate that. Hi, New Orleans lady. I've never seen your name in the chat before. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. Please like and comment and join us for all our upcoming stuff. And go and check out some of my other videos on some of the cases that I talked about tonight. This was not a put together show. It's just something to do to hang out with my internet friends. But tomorrow we'll be together. We'll be more put together. All right, so I'm actually gonna get off here for real this time. For real, for real. Like really, I'm about to hit the end live stream, but right now.